Hey everyone. I asked Tammy if we could have just a conversation about boundaries. They are something that is really important. And this week in practicum, in my class, what's been coming up are two issues. And I just thought maybe Tammy and I could just kick it around a little bit. So one issue is that it goes beyond, I think boundaries go beyond, like who do you touch and how, and do you hug or not hug. It sort of goes into a larger rubric of professional behavior and following agency rules and understanding what the agency culture is. So maybe we'll just start with that, and then we'll go to the second one. So,
Danielle, one thing that I see come up with students all the time is they feel like they're working maybe with someone and they've created this great plan, and they think they don't understand why the person isn't following the plan.
oh,
Yeah, and sometimes sort of step out of just their professional role and not really respecting the choice. I mean, it's always someone's choice to decide what to do.
right.
But becoming so frustrated by if they would only do X, Y, and Z, then this would happen,
Yep.
that they end up sort of trying to micromanage that person's life rather than really respecting their ability to make choice.
That's a really good example of boundaries. I certainly remember that from practice myself. I used to call it the shake by the shoulders method of social work. That if you would just do what I want you to do,
Absolutely.
everything would be great.
It would be okay. Yeah, and how hard that is for us, and how boundaries are also connected to self-awareness and our developing our own reflexive practice about, I know when I feel like, gosh, if someone would just do this, and why are they not? And it gets so frustrating for me, I have to stop and say, what is this about me?
Yeah,
this isn't really about that person anymore. This is about me.
Yep.
And sort of how I see things should happen. And it's really acting out of a place of my own values, as opposed to recognizing and really respecting someone's ability to have a different perception and make their own choices.
Yeah.
And to a greater understanding of who knows why someone can or can't make a choice at any point in their lives.
Right.
Yeah, and I can offer the options with the best of my knowledge, but that doesn't mean it always fits for that person.
Right.
But it is really frustrating.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And another part of that then is the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that I heard in seminar this week was the rescue. Well, if I just took all these kids home, or if I just made myself available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, then I could really help that person do what they need to do. And actually, that's not great social work. Have you seen that before?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So the one thing that the rescue does is it doesn't, it's not really empowering, right? In fact, it's almost disempowering because it's based on our needs.
In our agendas.
In our agendas, exactly, rather than on connecting people with resources and allowing them to make decisions about their life.
Yeah. And again, that takes us back to a place of really looking at, why is this so hard for me? And also really looking at self-care, because it is hard to see people or groups of people suffering and feeling the need to impact change now, today, at this moment, and really being able to sit with this being a process, and people have to be engaged in the process and going back and sort of revisiting something like that. So there's a few questions to think about.
Tell us what I.
Yeah, so what I was really thinking about is that as you're posting to the section, if this really connects with something, you might think about how social workers in your agencies, or how any human professional in your agency does set boundaries, and maybe examples you see of how boundaries are set well, or how boundaries perhaps are not set well. And also just your own thinking around, how do you know when to set a boundary? So I think about, you've used this example before, you're driving down the street and it's raining and you see a client standing on the side of the street waiting for a bus. Do you stop and pick them up? Where are your boundaries with that? Or you're with someone and you see that they need a coat and you have a coat. Do you give them your coat?
Those are really great ones. Those are really great. So can you tell us what you think?